Jorma Vuoksenmaa, you had an exceptional ending for the summer in the Colossus Bets Big 15s. There were a lot of big wins and a lot of big cash outs. And actually, cash outs, that's the word of the day for us. As a syndicate captain, crafting and designing the syndicates is not your only responsibility. Also, the cash outs are your thing. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Everything starts with very detailed mathematical, scientific analysis. We calculate the probabilities to each home, draw, and away, and we use exactly the same methods and techniques we have done 40 years in our profitable sports betting. That's the first step. Second step is to create the lines and combinations which are profitable and then try to put them into the same ticket, same syndicates as well as possible. But then, as you said, that's only the start of it. Then the cash out decisions can cut down the risk and volatility a lot, and if they are done the cash outs properly, you don't lose that much out of your expected profits either.
Alright, so let's take a look at 3 case studies of your recent Colossus Bets cash outs. So let's start with the big 15 win in the early July. You took cash outs worth of over 29,000 euros and then won 21,000 euros, so that was in total over 50,000 euros.
Yeah, 50,700, yeah.
Exactly. So can you tell us a bit about the cash out decisions in that one?
Yeah, that one was pretty easy on Saturday. The Saturday games went quite nicely and we didn't need did I take 10% before Valado or did Alaves or halftime? Can't remember. But we had biggest part of the ticket alive on Sunday on the Swansea-Sheffield Wednesday game. But that looked pretty tight. I tried to watch those big decision games, even if it takes a lot of my free time and my family's time. I try to watch those key games in order to make better cash out decisions, and that match looked pretty tight, and there I needed a cash out, and you know, the general logic is if the things go nicely, you don't do that much because the cash outs cost expected value and money. Of course, the game organization want to have margin on their side. That's their business. And if you take an insurance against a fire or car insurance or whatever, death insurance, you pay a premium. So the Colossus Bet takes their premium, and that's the reason we players should not take cash outs too freely. We just want to take them if we get a good, very good, exceptionally good price, that the cash out offer is calculated probably slightly with different opinion from what we have. And second reason to take cash outs is that the risk and profitability is so good that we are more or less happy with slightly smaller win, even if we lose a fraction of our expected value by doing a cash out, right? So in that Swansea-Sheffield Wednesday, I thought that it's better to settle for slightly smaller wins, and there I took the first cash out before those Newcastle, West Ham and Osasuna Getafe games.
So then it was the Villarreal-Barcelona game, which was the next big decider. You decided not to cash out before that game. You had Barcelona as a banker there. What was your decision based on?
It was pretty funny and paradoxal that, normally I'm pretty positive with underdogs, and Villarreal plays very beautiful, good football. It looks good and it's good even according to our metrics. But I decided to watch the first half because more on the reason that I think Barcelona had slipped slightly towards the end of the season. For some reason, and good for us, they played probably the best match for the season, or at least after the COVID break on that one, and they looked so good, and I remember they led after first half, so I just let it run, and we had just a good control towards the end. That I'm not joking that I considered going to sauna 15 minutes before the final whistle, because Barcelona had the position a lot and kept the ball. Actually, they could have scored more, and when they lost the ball, they defended very disciplined way. Were under the ball most of the team, and Messi and Suarez partly their attacking play was like a ballet. So there we can congratulate each other after the game that we didn't cash out anything on that, and we had a very valuable coupon before the Tottenham-Everton.
So the Tottenham-Everton was played one day after.
Yeah, Monday evening. Yeah.
Yes. So you had roughly 20 something hours until the kickoff, and you had a conversation with your syndicate members and other professionals and analysts about the game, and you did cash out something before that match?
Yes, right? It's quite a lot. I think I got kind of raised cash out offer from Colossus bets, and I think I had just 30% left before that Tottenham game, because to start with, I was at the kickoff time, I was not too impressed of how Tottenham had looked after the COVID break, and Mourinho played bit dodgy lineups, and I just felt, I have 40 years experience, I just felt I was not so sure about Tottenham, even if we had Tottenham as a banker in our Colossus Bets Pick 15. Quite often in Colossus Bets Pick 15, it's more or less the difficult degree control. You might have a couple of ideas in the coupon, but you can't bet all those value underdogs in your tickets, because then the line gets so improbable that even if you scoop the whole pot, the pot is not enough to compensate the big risk. So you need to take certain favorites to your tickets, even if you don't think that they will win or they are bankers. So we had Tottenham banker with a swing of tens of thousands, but we didn't like Tottenham, nor did the very sharp Finnish professional bettors. It's funny, quite a few of the very best Finns bet in my syndicates, even if those small part of my syndicates doesn't make any big difference, because they are millionaires anyway. But they find it fun to bet with those Colossus Bets syndicates, which are pretty well created and with the same philosophy as those Finnish professionals have. Right. So of course I discussed with them, because even with small parts of my syndicates they are in, so I should listen to them. Secondly, we discuss with each other anyway, and so the Finnish professionals and my own employees, they're even more Everton positive than I was. You know, I have liked Everton after Ancelotti, and where the discipline got better, and they are kind of team with very with some breadth. They are countless reasons why I was not too sure about Tottenham, so I was kind of, you know, happy to hedge. It was question of to do it with Asian handicaps or to accept the Colossus bets offer. And then I didn't react to their first offer, but when they raised their cash out offer, then I sold. I think I had sold 30 or 20. I had sold 30. I sold 50% more. I had 20 left. Then the game started.
All right, and what happened then?
Yeah, Tottenham played well, and I think they deserved to lead 1-0 at the halftime, even if there were not that much scoring chances. Then something really strange happened. Two Tottenham players, it was a goalkeeper, what is his name? Loris, yes, and another player. They shouted to each other and started pushing and shoving, and teammates came in between to them. I don't know what was happening, why was it, but for sure it was not normal. And then when you get a very generous big cash out offer in very special circumstances, I sold 10% more of my ticket. So I ended up to have only 20% of the ticket left, and so the final situation was that when Tottenham held their lead, we won. You just said it, something like 21,000 with a coupon and with consolation dividends, and we had cashed out 28,000. So that was the story of the June big win. July.
All right, let's move on to early August, when you had a very long day, quite hard day, I suppose. There was a very promising ticket playing up to 80,000 euros, but lots of trouble, like simultaneous matches, changing scores and stuff like that. You cashed out 70% of it for 1,134 euros, and in the end you ended up winning 27,000 euros. Can you tell us about the day?
Yeah, it's that is even a general problem or challenge in Colossus Bet's Big 15s. You know, if there are tight level games and they play at the same time, I'm experienced and a mathematical captain, but they are tricky situations because the scores can change a lot, of course, from game to game, and if you make a hedge bet somewhere with fixed bookmakers, you can end up losing. And on the other hand, if you cash out with Colossus bets, you might get a very bad price, if you think it afterwards, of a ticket which has been plus expected value before the games and even during the games, but because the risk is so big and the probability of hitting all of them, you really can't. I mean, at least I'm not that bold or rich that I could just, let it run 8 games at the same time and just go and pray that plus profitable expected value would realize. Right. So on that particular day, those Korean games, Sangmu and Incheon United home games, they're pretty tight games, and they were tight even after the half time. And then at that Belgium game, war game against Genk. Because we had to have draws in certain other games. We can't have draws in too many of them, and we have other syndicates with only home and away on that Vargem Genk game, and that was drawn on the half time. So there we needed cash out. So under these very unfortunate circumstances, we had to cash out a lot already before those last games, Rosenborg and Ural.
So the most difficult decisions were there in the games you just mentioned. After all, they actually went like score-wise pretty well for you. You had the coupon still alive. Rosenborg game, they were a big favorite there, and you didn't cash out after that. Before that, of course. But after that, there was FC Ural against Dynamo Moscow, Russian game. You decided to cash out a little bit before that.
Yeah, that's what I remember. I couldn't, if I remember right, I couldn't find the stream first, and I thought that it's better to cash out something because I can't watch the game. And then I found the screen, and Moscow played well, and I think I cashed out something very small before the game or at the halftime, but it was not that big decision because I played only towards 24,000, and the biggest decision, as I said, unfortunately we had to take under those simultaneous games earlier on. And not that much drama. Moscow won very nicely, and Rosenborg beat Salzburg 5-1, and we have full cover on the last match. So happy end, and one can always kick oneself to one's own leg afterwards. But why did I cash out 70% during those Korean and other games? But on the other hand, you would never have this kind of afterthoughts or discussions in case one of those 7 games didn't go your way. So one just should take the cash out pretty philosophically, win some, lose some, and always try to act disciplined and mathematically, which I try to do even if I'm under big pressures when I'm managing the money for 60 or 20 or whatever my fellow sports bettors, thinking sports bettors.
No regrets there, although it always hurts at least a bit when you can see afterwards that you would have won more without the cash out, although you knew that you just had to do it as a professional. But as the last story of the day, we can take a look at the situation in which you saved actually tens of thousands of euros with a bunch of clever cash outs. So let's move on to the last weekend of August.
Yeah, there we were lucky and partly skillful with the first Scottish Premiership games, and even with the risk of being a bit too overconfident, we have done very good pre-season analysis on the French Ligue 1. Just have a look on that video as well. It's still pretty useful, even if Paris Saint-Germain is struggling. But back to the track. So even the French games went our way, and we had biggest parts of tickets left before the decisive games, 3 last before the before the end of the full thing on the Sunday evening. And we had played a couple of tickets with 50 cents stake because we were asked to do so after a very successful summer, and some Finnish high rollers wanted to bet a bit more, so we bet the best combinations grouped in the very profitable other good lines with 50 cents per lane. So one of those ones which were playing towards 200,000, normally we play towards 80,000, one of those towards 200,000 50-cent tickets was live, and there we had Hibernian Aberdeen home and odds-on favorite Malmö against Elfsborg home, and Viking Molde, the Norwegian game, full cover. That was our best ticket, playing towards 250,000 and no 200,000, and then we had totally 4 tickets a chance to get 15 out of 15, but the 3 other were to win 80,000 with 20-cent stake, and we had I think 7 combinations on the 4 tickets there we could scoop. Nobody else could win.
Yes, so you cashed out quite a lot there.
Yeah, we had I think we received an offer of 32,000 of the ticket before Malmö and Hibernian kicked off. But unfortunately, Aberdeen scored at Hibernian 0-1, and Malmö took early lead after I think first minute or in 2 minutes, and they were a big odds-on favorite against Elfsborg, and in my book they might have been even clearer favorite. But for my huge disappointment, Elfsborg leveled the score the very last minute of the first period. We got surprisingly good cash out offers from Colossus bets, and as I always say, the betting market overestimates the chance goals being scored then the time goes down. The time decay in live betting is stronger than in options trading, and in options trading there is academical research that the traders underreact to the time, right? So quite often, if you are a member in my syndicates with Colossus bets, you see situations when I cash out coupons even with favorites if a game is drawn before the second half, because occasionally we get slightly better prices than we should, because the market overestimates that the favorite will score the goal needed on the second half, and because the market believes so, the prices their Colossus bet algorithm base their cash out offers is biased. So that's the reason I keep doing the cash outs when the favorite is drawn, even a big favorite is drawn before the second half, even if I quite often look silly. Oh, how stupid Vuoksenmaa is. Everybody knew Malmö will score, but we don't score always.
Yeah, and this time they didn't, and neither did Hibernian, so you saved quite a lot of money with those cash outs. You're a professional sports bettor, but you're also a human being. How does it feel to like a week or a few weeks after actually kind of, let's say, losing money with cash out, or like let's say winning less because of a cash out? How difficult is it to cash out a few weeks after that?
Yeah, it's you got the point. I mean, it's a roller coaster always. Regardless of if you have been in the branch 40-45 years, you still have some emotion going. You feel disappointed for the bad beats, or you start to make questions about your decisions afterwards, even if they have been justified with the information on the moment of the decision. A good friend of mine, Las Vegas odds compiling legend, said that nobody is immune to those afterthoughts, and I go one step further. If you get immune of that emotion, it can be, you know, like a soldier in a war without, you know, any willingness to live. You need to have some kind of, you know, have exactly the correct level of alertness. You can't be too sloppy nor too timid or nervous. So yes, I felt feel quite relieved if the captain decision has proved correct afterwards. I mean, if you don't have cashed out too much out of a winning ticket, or if you have saved money by selling a bit of the ticket which have proved to be worthless on those results which had been drawn out of a random event. And so the emotion is there, and especially, you know, if you manage your own money, or you manage the money of 2 or 3 good friends of yours, hardcore professionals, you don't feel that kind of pressure. You feel with less money if you are Colossus Bets captain and want to do good work for your loyal members. Okay, I know quite a few of the Finnish professionals who almost always buy some shares from my tickets, but when I have plenty of new friends from African countries who I guess bet Colossus via Betway in African countries, and I respect them as much as I respect those high roller Finnish customers, and you know, it's very hard to explain to all those new African friends why I make these decisions, because they have not read my book nor read my columns in Finnish newspapers or watch these videos. And I occasionally feel slightly uncomfortable because I'm a bit unsure if my new customers from Africa, or even in Great Britain, there are people who are not that kind of betting experts, but they understand why I do these decisions, which might look occasionally strange. And it's good they look strange, because if they looked obvious, the 4 betting markets would agree with me, and we would get very bad prices for our cash outs. So it pays to think on a different way, and I just can, you know, say to you, trust me or not. If you think I'm honest, I'm professional, I'm trying to make good decisions, and occasionally they are good ones like this last time, and occasionally they afterwards look that we have won less money due to my cash outs. Let it be. I try to be good for your and my syndicates.
Thank you, Jorma. Lots of syndicates and lots of cash out decisions coming up, so we're looking forward to discuss those further in our same videos.
Yeah, great autumn is about to start. I think we have a slim profit margin, we have huge variance risk, which I tried to control with cash outs, and at least we'll do the best possible tickets, best possible cash outs. I doubt if anybody can do better, and we'll have a smashing great sporting autumn and excitement. Thank you.